Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of our entitled parents. In today's episode, entitled mom gets me kicked out of my job because I'm pregnant. Entitled MIL demands a paternity test and then tries to kidnap the baby. Entitled parents angry at grown daughter for moving out. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Entitled mom gets me kicked out of my job because I'm pregnant. I just need to get this off my chest. I'm very upset about this. I, 23F, am 8 weeks pregnant. Which means I'm in that spot where morning sickness hits you at any time, and it hits you hard. I'm a server at a restaurant famous for their burgers and ribs. The restaurant was barely open for 2 hours, and I suddenly felt like I was going to throw up. I hurried to the bathroom and nothing came out. Good, no harm done, right? I'm waiting for some food to be done to take out in the kitchen. All my tables are done, so I was gonna follow another server and help her food out. When I came back, my manager had told me that a customer had reported me for dry heaving on the job, I guess, and I had to be sent home. The manager, bless his heart, tried to tell her that I'm just pregnant and my symptoms are hitting me hard. This lady, while she had a child with her, clearly and loudly said I don't give AF***CK. And left, I assume after paying for her food. Last time I checked, morning sickness isn't contagious. And even though I didn't actually vomit, I washed my hands and face regardless. The whole thing was blown out of proportion. The whole thing made me mad because it's not like this is something I have control over. And she wasn't even in my section, I wasn't serving her. Now I'm stuck home and all the tips I made today was a measly $18. I have a baby to save up for, damn it. My managers were equally angry, and have given me my own trash can outside in the back so I don't have to run to the bathroom anymore. Ironically though, I had brought her food to her when I was following a coworker. Presumably after she reported me and before I had found out. She smiled at me and didn't even say anything. Okay, I feel better. Thanks for reading. Entitled MIL demands a paternity test and then tries to kidnap the baby. This is my sister's story. Please excuse the language. English is not my first language. My sister and her husband were together for 5 years before they got married in 2016. Within a month of their marriage, my sister found out she was expecting. She told very few people around her, her MIL was not one of them. When she was 12 weeks along, she finally felt secure enough to announce her pregnancy to everyone else. Entitled Instance 1. Emile started crying and everyone around her was celebrating. My sister announced it during a family lunch between our families. The only ones who knew were me, my parents and her husband, my BIL. My sister's in-laws and BIL's siblings were just finding out. My sister had not wanted to share the news because she was worried about miscarrying. However, when her MIL saw my parents and me smiling and not being surprised, she started bawling. Screaming that my sister ruined her experience of finding out about her grandbaby by not telling her as soon as she found out. She was angry about the fact that my sister shared the news with us, her literal flesh and blood over her. FIL had to remove her from the situation and my sister felt guilty, as did my BIL. They spent the rest of the afternoon trying to make up for it while the rest of us were confused why Mill thought she deserved to know first. This led to another situation, entitled Instance 2. Now since MIL felt excluded, she made sure she was included from that point onwards. Throwing a baby shower much before my sister wanted to, decor and arrangements, guest list, and invites being done without as much as consultation from my sister, inviting mostly MIL's side of the family and not ours, forcing my sister to let her be present for each prenatal checkup and scan. Moving into the house with my sister and BIL to help take care of her baby. Trying to control what and how much my sister eats, including throwing out essential medication prescribed to her and arguing against my sister's nutritionist who had made a very extensive meal plan for her. Finally, Bil and sister had enough. They asked her to move out and not stick her nose into everything that was not her concern. Now, mind you, my Bil is a big softy and a mama's boy, but he will stand up for his wife. This led to the penultimate situation, entitled Instance 3. Mil lost her shit. How could her baby boy throw her out of the house? She decided it must be because my sister is a manipulative. Somehow, this string of thought landed her to presume that that baby could not be my Bil's, because Bil wanted to wait until marriage to have sex, and that my sister got pregnant too soon. So Mil went around spreading gossip and rumor everywhere, and to anyone stupid enough to listen to her. She went from calling my sister's unborn baby her baby to now calling it every name possible devil child, the result of cheating, B*ST*RD, and whatnot. Then she started demanding she needed to see proof of paternity, otherwise she would cut the child and my sister off from the family and also never speak to her son again if he would not condemn his wife's behavior. She was also convinced my family knew of her pregnancy before her because we must have known she cheated and deceptively got her married to Bil to hide the fact. They again had enough, and this went on till she gave birth. Sis and Bil went low contact with Mil for months pre- and postpartum. Around the time the baby was 5 months old, Mil apologized and stated she wanted access to her baby again. Sis and Bil were very skeptical, but they agreed for supervised visits only, and only if Mil was constantly accompanied by either sister or Bil. Mil did not like this. She once again threw a tantrum over how her son was corrupted by his evil wife and her darling son would never do something like this to his mother. She again brought up paternity, and called Bil blind and an idiot for letting some common hussy force him to parent someone else's child. Bil calmly stated it was either his way or the highway. Mil chose his way. This is the peak of the entitled saga. Mil tries kidnapping the baby. So one of the days when Mil was allowed to visit the baby, she absolutely is no help and demands to be catered to. Sis was very tired. The baby had colic that week and she was run to the ground. Bil could not be home and Sis tried rescheduling, but Mil was already on the way, and it was nearly impossible to stop her. My sister says she had just handed the baby over Mil in the living room and sat on the couch. Big mistake. She has no idea when she dozed off, but Sis must have dozed off for a little while after being up with a fussy child and being exhausted and dealing with postpartum issues. When she came to, neither Mil nor the baby was to be found. She looked for the baby frantically and called her Mil, but no answer. She got in touch with Bil, who drove home, picked her up, and they went to Mil's house to look for her. Fil answered and said he had not seen Mil since she drove down to visit my sister, but her phone was on Find My Phone, and they could track her phone from his device as they shared the same cloud. Sure enough, within minutes, they see the phone moving towards a local hospital/lab area. It is a one-way road and a dead end. They hop in a car and drive to the hospital. Sis finds Mil arguing with the hospital staff for not performing any medical procedures and tests on the baby without the parents. Mil wanted to get a paternity test performed on the baby. She was detained by the hospital security, and the baby was in the custody of the hospital, who thought she had kidnapped the baby. Sis and Bil reached just in time for the hospital to be calling the cop and trying to locate them. They had to show 10 different types of proof of identity and parentage to the staff before they were allowed to take their baby again. Bil threatened legal action against Mil, not sure what came of that. This happened years ago, and Mil and Bil and my sis have the most strained relationship. Baby barely knows their grandma, but is quite close to grandpa, who often visits. Entitled Parents angry at grown daughter for moving out. Got her entitled daughter 3 cats to cure her depression. They took no care of them, and the cats got fleas. Tons of fleas. So I, as the oldest daughter, decided to move out at 19. I looked for an apartment to rent and found one a few weeks ago. I'm now 20 and it's almost 100% furnished. last week I moved and even though my kitchen isn't here yet because I was covered in flea bites. And when I say covered I mean covered. My feet, legs, arms and even neck were burning and had tons of little open wounds. 2 hours after I moved in it started with the messages in the GC. Come back home. You shouldn't be living alone as a woman. Tell me where your apartment is so I can get you. People are going to gossip. Unmarried women don't move out. You come back home ASAP. I know you see my messages, I will come to get you. Entitled sister, you're so dramatic because of a few bites. Since they know where I work a few days ago they waited in the car in front of my job, and Once I threatened to call the police stopped and left me alone. Sent me like a billion messages calling me a SLT, traitor, BTCH etc. disowning me. Happiest Eve ever been, and have my own place now haha. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.